I haven't uploaded anything for a month because I was taking some time off to relax by the sea in Albania. My everyday life for the past month was like this. Wake up, have breakfast and coffee with Eli, go for a swim, come back, read a book. I've wanted to do this forever, but I finally got to it in this vacation that I was reading some books from Dostoevsky, and I want to continue reading some other books about psychology in general, but that's another topic. So I would read some of that. Then we would just chill around and then have lunch. Later we would go for a swim again before sunset and then come out, take a shower, watch the wonderful sunsets in Albania. After that we would head to the small town that was nearby. It had a lot of places that were offering food, so we would sometimes have a proper dinner there, sometimes just have crepes, something sweet, or sometimes, burgers and stuff. Then we would head back to the camping spot, read some more, and then go to sleep and do it all over again. I spent most of August in this pine forest that you saw in the beginning, so as you might imagine it was quite relaxing, unlike the entire other months previous to that. I've been uploading regularly to YouTube for almost a year now, and it has been quite a lot of work. I've had some phases when I was posting 2 videos a week on YouTube, plus normal effort on Instagram, whatever normal means. Then I've had other phases when I was posting only 1 video to YouTube, but 5 talking head reels to Instagram. And even during the times when I wasn't very active on both platforms, I was still doing a lot in the background. For example, client work or solving the real life problems. Those are the thing. Or I was preparing some YouTube video that was a bit more complicated. I'm not saying this to complain at all. I absolutely love what I'm doing, and if I didn't, I would just go ahead and do something else. The reason why I'm saying it is that probably like most of you, I've also noticed a tendency from these platforms, especially from Instagram, to make me want to upload more content and more often to them. At different times I've fallen prey to this temptation, and I'm sure some of you also have, but after putting so much work into these platforms, again, especially Instagram, I couldn't help but feel empty and characterless. One of the many reasons why I started this journey is that I found photography very fulfilling and I could express myself through it. But now doing a 180-degree turn on those feelings is kind of a major red flag, showing that something is going wrong. In an attempt to push back against this tendency of posting more content to these platforms, which is also more similar to the kind of content that everyone else is posting, in an attempt to turn back again towards fulfillment and creative expression, but also for aesthetic reasons, I picked up my first ever film camera. It's this Canon EOS 500, and I brought it with me on this trip. In order for me to really understand the feeling of shooting film, I had to kind of give up on my other cameras, and on my R6 Mark II I made sure to only shoot most of the footage within 2 to 3 days. I only used the GoPro once when we were diving, and the drone shots are actually from last year. I didn't even fly it once. So most of the time I was only shooting film, and I managed to shoot almost 2 rolls. The first one is that I used during this whole time, and the second one was almost completely shot on the last day. I have to say the feeling of shooting film versus digital is completely different. It's both frightening because I have zero idea how the photos will turn out even at this point, because I just sent them to the lab and they're still being developed. I didn't get any email yet that they're done. But at the same time, it's also super relaxing. It is very relaxing because when shooting film, I found myself generally taking a lot more time before I take the shots to frame it correctly and to fix the settings. I would look at the subject that I like, and then I would go around it, see different perspectives. And then when I found the best frame, I would just take the photo, and after the point of pressing the shutter, my brain was completely free to move on from that photo because I couldn't see it for once, so I had no idea what I just took. But that means that if I can't see what I shoot, I also can't have more thoughts of how to improve it. So when I would see something interesting, I would just take one photo and then forget about it, continue to do the next shot, or just do whatever else I was doing. Basically being way more present than I would if I was shooting in a digital camera. Because with a digital camera, you don't think all that much about the frame. You see a subject you like, then you take a photo, and then you look at the screen, and then you think about reframing it, maybe it will look better, and then in the end you get many photos which you can all see, and your brain is still thinking how to improve on top of them. At least that's how it works for me. But also in the end, after taking 10 photos of the same thing, you leave another task for yourself afterwards in the editing process to decide which one of them was the best. So in that sense, shooting film was extremely more relaxing than shooting digital. Another thing that really overstimulates your brain is using your phone, because you scroll through social media and then you see all this content coming at you, and then you don't let your brain any time to think freely. So if you think you're struggling with overstimulation and you need some time to relax, I would very strongly, and if you're a photographer, of course, but I think you are, otherwise you wouldn't be here on this channel, I would very strongly advise you to pick up a film camera and also pick up a book instead of scrolling through social media. I think I can say with quite a lot of confidence that it's going to change your life for the better. Now, if you're wondering about the cost, you can really find a lot of film cameras for very cheap. For example, I got this EOS 500 with this 28 to 105 lens for only 80 euros, and it even came with its own bag plus an external Canon flash. So the gear is really inexpensive. When it comes to the film, that might be a bit expensive. I'm definitely going to explore a lot more film times, but for this time, this is the one that I liked the most from the results that I saw on the internet, and that's why I picked it. And a pack with 5 rolls, 35mm Portra 160 costed about 95 euros or something on Amazon. And then afterwards I also had to take the photos to a lab to develop and scan them, and there one roll of film also costed me about 16 euros or something. So in the end I calculated the cost a little bit, and it was just under 1 euro per photo. So every time you press a shutter, you're just spending 1 euro when you're shooting film. And to be honest, I don't think that's so bad with all the benefits that it gives you, especially the peace of mind. I think that's a fair price to pay. And also if you learn eventually, which I'm also planning to do, to develop your films yourself, then that's gonna drop the cost even further. So in Austria, using Portra 160, that's the kind of cost you have to calculate with. And now it's time to talk about the actual results. So I'm just coming back from the lab now, where I took my films to develop them and scan them. I got the rolls with me in the backpack, but the photos were sent to me via email and I haven't looked at them yet. I only managed to look at them in the computer of the lab owner, but only at the large icons, so not really inside the photos yet. And I'm super excited to see what that's gonna be like. We're gonna see what they look like exactly when we are back in the studio. Let's do it. So now it's finally time to see what I got from these 2 rolls. I made myself a coffee, one of those nice looking ones, because of course if it looks good it tastes better. And then I downloaded everything, then I imported it to Lightroom, and now it's time to see what's up. This one is the very first photo that I got. Wait a second, I need to make it a bit darker here because I can't see that well. Okay, so now it's darker. This is the very first picture that I got. I remember waiting there for quite a long time for people to move a little bit, for the place to be filled up. It is in the western station of Vienna, and it looks pretty nice, quite greenish, not very clean, but also it's on film, so what do we expect? That is Ellie. This picture, I saw this nice BMW and I told her to go next to it. It's not exactly in focus, but it's still fine. Also here I took quite a long time to take this photo. This is called Karlskirche. It's Karl's church in the center of Vienna, one of my favorite buildings ever. It looks really nice. This one is overexposed, but I knew that because I wanted to have some detail inside the airport as well, and that wasn't going to be possible unless I overexposed the outside world. Not a 10 out of 10 kind of photo, but it's okay. Alright, so the order is not exactly how I took them. This is already when I was back from vacation. I remember this one. Oh, that's a very nice photo. I really like this. I also took a long time to figure out the framing for this photo, because I looked at these boats here. There were some huge boats around, and then I thought it would be nice if I captured the detail with this cup here that someone had just left in the middle of nowhere. And we have a picture of Ellie. This looks like it was taken on a digital camera. Super good. And a picture of me. That's the cards I told you about that we were playing during this vacation. Yeah. And that's our picture together on this mirror, and you can see the camera here. And my ultimate photographer's hat. And this, yeah, I knew it was gonna look like this. Super cool. This old palace built in the communist times in Albania. beautiful. This was where we were swimming all the time. Yeah, that was it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. Those were my first ever 2 rolls of film, and I'm very excited to the coming rolls in the future. See you in the next one. Bye.